So for anyone who doesn't know, this is a continuation of the Arcane animation analysis that we had done. When was that? Last Saturday?
No, the Saturday before.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah.
Last Saturday was...
Yeah, canceled. So we're just taking a look at the Arcane trailer and just looking at how cool it is, essentially.
Now, we could probably play through it again just for people. For anyone new here who hasn't seen last week's, like, we can play through it, let you guys see it, because it's awesome and worth seeing.
It is. So I'm gonna hope it's gonna play. We'll see. So let's try this.
Did you turn off the annotations?
And yeah, I did. I'm not sure how loud it's gonna be for everyone, so let me double check. Okay.
Maybe turn off the music for the stream.
Kid, me and my sister, we played a game where we pretended to chase monsters away.
So good.
I don't hear any sound. I wouldn't hear it, right?
I'd say no monster's gonna get you when I'm here.
Let me get you the sound, Cameron.
Monster showed up.
Oh, good.
I have to find her.
So good.
The animation is so good.
I mean, like, just look at the weight shift in the walk. Such a good character and such a subtle motion.
I love that collar, the clockwork collar.
Yeah, on her.
A way to harness magic through science.
You don't understand what's at stake.
Such good speed.
Power doesn't come to those who are born strong.
Those 2D effects are so awesome.
They're masters of 2D effects.
To achieve it. Imagining yourself a hero. Then what are you waiting for?
Those eyes.
More lives may be lost. The Undercity cannot be controlled.
Then we have to go in by
So
force.
good.
What have you done with my sister? I'll give you regards.
Oh,
But looking forward to talking about that stuff.
yeah.
She's too far gone. I have to try.
I'm so excited for this.
You've got a good heart. Don't ever lose it. Protect the family.
Are we still sisters? Nothing is ever going to change that.
So cool. It almost looked like it was animated in step mode. Right there, that glove. It was so cool. So good. Okay. So did you see any scenes that you wanted to look at specifically? Because I saw so many.
Yes, pretty much all of them.
Yeah.
So, can you see? Am I synced with yours?
Let me
Join sync.
refresh here.
There you go. I joined the sync.
Okay. Mine's
And I've
just gonna reload.
scooted down in my chair to get into my Cintiq.
You're in drawing mode
Ka-ching.
now. Okay. I think we were right around here last time.
I'm
So-
not seeing. Let me refresh. Still black for me.
Might take a
There we
little
go.
bit. Yeah.
If I frame through this.
Yeah,
do you
I can see
it?
that.
Okay. Yeah. So we were
Great composition there.
right after
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, there's all our drawings.
Yeah. Let me turn off ghosting. So yeah, the first thing I want to talk about, we'll probably go through these first shots really quick just because they're just close-ups. But this is something that I see a lot, like as a mentor at Animation Mentor, talking with a lot of the mentors, especially in class 5, 4 and 5, the acting classes. This is something that a lot of students don't often do in acting classes. A lot of times when I see acting classes, or or acting shots from students, it's really focused on like there's going to be a lot of motion, there's going to be a lot of stuff happening.
Mm-hmm.
But the focus should be on the performance of the acting. Your character doesn't have to do a lot. And I often also see characters sitting in a chair. It's like they put a character in a chair, and it's like your character doesn't have to be in a chair. They can be standing. And standing just gives you more room to actually like have them shift their weight and do all this stuff. But like look at this shot. Look at his performance. The way that the eyes are in shadow here, you're getting this really nice brow covering his eyes. It's a nice overlap. As he raises his head, you get just this like glimmer of the eyes there under the brow, giving you this really nice shape there. And as he raises, just look at like his head. His head comes up this way, but then as it reaches a peak, his jaw kind of goes this way. So it's not just one smooth motion. It goes up and then he kind of shifts himself over.
Extra tilt in there, ever so subtle.
It's really good, and you can see that in his body as well. There's a shift in his body.
Well, they're doing this really nice squash and stretch, whereas as his head comes up, his shoulders come down, and it's making him feel like he just kind of grows a little bit, versus just shoulders stay still, and then the head's just doing its own thing. Really nice.
Was there something you wanted to mention?
No, that was...
but there was something else. Here. With her, again, acting shot, where she's literally just sitting there. She's not doing anything, but look at how, the way she blinks, you get a little bit of sympathetic motion in the cheeks. The whole face is connected, even with just a simple blink like this. And when she moves her head up, notice how her hands go down. So you're getting this counter direction, opposing actions, where her head comes up and her hands go down, which adds a lot more emphasis to the head action. Her body isn't just frozen and she just moves her head. She's readjusting her hands as she does it. And it's such a good touch.
But it's not even just a straight down. It's the screen left hand shifting over and like pushing down, and you're getting this
slide.
Yeah, this beautiful motion that's not
it's
just...
almost like a cracking knuckles kind of motion.
Almost.
But like a very controlled knuckle crack.
Yeah.
Like there's a little bit of that in there.
It's one of those things that I feel a lot of students especially miss out on, is the idea of head angles. A lot of people tend to place the face kind of straight to camera, and the characters will smile and frown and do all of these emotions, but always kind of at a neutral level. And that loses a lot of the acting choices that you can do, because a lot of the subtle emotions come from head angle and the variation of that head angle. And both of these shots, which are medium shots, shoulders to the top of the head, there's not much body motion in here, but we get so much
close up, wouldn't it?
I always forget the exact cutoff point. Medium close up, I think.
Yeah, medium close up.
So we've got that, and if they were just to look down, look up, you wouldn't get too much. But by changing the head, you get so much personality, especially on here. Like Cameron was saying, that overlap of the brows to the eyes. If you look at any shot, like, for example, let's go full screen here. If I smile, is this a smile? And if I tilt my head, it's going to change the entire smile without having to change anything on the face. So if I tilt it up, suddenly it feels more arrogant. If I tilt it down, suddenly it doesn't look like a happy smile anymore. It's the same thing. I'm not changing anything. Just this to this. So if you play with that, play with those head angles. Like if I smile and I do this now, away, suddenly you get a totally different feeling of that face. And when you use that along with facial expressions, you can build this really nuanced performance versus just hi and you're just staring straight at the camera, or 3/4 and you're just staring here the whole time.
And just on that, like, we don't realize, like, with student work, like Bo said, oftentimes the characters just stare at each other. They don't interact, like, they don't turn their head, they just face the person. But we as humans, we never, unless you're like directly talking to someone, we turn our head, we look down, we look up, we look away, but we keep our eye on them. We can really adjust our head angles a lot when we talk. And like Bo said, the difference between like tilting your head straight at someone like this to like this makes a difference.
Yeah.
It gives a different feeling. This is very like, I'm angry at you and I'm confrontational. This is more like
pissed off.
Yeah.
Like, just almost hate in there.
So you really can use that. And I love seeing this because the head angles in these two shots tell you a lot about the person. Tells you a lot about him and the way he brings up his head, and then the way she brings, like, they're very different. But they're both doing the same action of looking down, bringing your head up. It's the same action.
Yeah. If you saw this in a script or just written out, they raise their head. They raise their head. Would be the same. So we've got these two.
And then how long do you think the animator took to animate this short shot? Probably a day.
Yeah, this could be done probably like a day or two for a short shot like that.
Like a day to get most of it done, and then another day for revisions from the director.
Yeah, a short shot like that. Not knowing that if these are longer shots, for example.
Because from a trailer, like, this could be a longer shot, like she looks up and then she talks. So
yeah.
But if this was the entire shot, a day. And then this next one, really nice. Just great use. This is something I love seeing. It's called frame within a frame. You have your shot, which is the frame here. This is your main frame of your shot. But within that, you can use other things in your scene to create inside frames. So his glasses here, his goggles, are creating windows that we're seeing this person run through. You see that shape. So we're not using the actual full frame. We're using this window that we're looking, air quotes, through to see the animation and see the story happening. That's really cool when people do that. You can do that in all sorts of ways. Like one of the examples I remember hearing was like, if you're gonna do someone get mail.
Oh jeez.
Whoa.
RNG, thank you so much for all the gifts. Oh, thank you so much.
I'll wait to finish what I was saying because, wow, thank you.
It's gonna be a while.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, RNG. Also, hello. Hope you're doing well.
Yes, thank you so much. I love this song.
I know, it's so good. I love this song.
I still want to animate Surf Wago dancing to it.
Yes, someday.
Get his little arms in there.
How would he swing his arms?
That's what I'm wondering.
He'd be just swinging his body from side to side. Yeah. His arms wouldn't do much. Thank you so much, RNG.
Yeah, that's super awesome of you.
Yeah. RNG is the gift king here. It's just amazing.
So good.
So
yes, what was I saying?
Yep, I thought there was one more.
Yeah, there was.
Actually, that should be it.
Yeah, that should be the last one. Thank you again.
Yes. Okay, so you were saying about an example that you hear about.
Yeah, so the example I often hear. Is there a way to? Whoa.
I guess there was one more. We miscounted. It caught you by surprise.
Yeah. that surprised me. Is there a way I can set this to black or something? That
set what?
Tracing paper.
Oh no, you can't change tracing paper color, unfortunately.
No, I'm just like black or white. It doesn't matter. Do you see the tracing paper?
For some reason, no. Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Yep.
So the example that I often see is person goes to get mail. And what I often see here, I'll draw like a quick storyboard. I apologize, I'm taking away from the analysis, but this is something like they used in here that I love seeing. So what you often see is like here's mailbox. There's the back of it. Flag. I'll draw the mailbox a few times. Not consistent. And then...
Oh, I know your example you're going to show. I like this one.
Yeah. So, person walks into scene. Opens the mailbox. My drawing is lagging.
It's just a challenge.
Yeah. Let's try to draw and then see what you drew like 2 seconds after. And then after they open it, they reach in to grab their stuff. So that's the sequence of events. And this is fine. It's a totally valid way to show a story.
Mm-hmm.
Person
Especially
comes in.
if you can't have any cuts or...
Yeah.
Yeah.
No camera cuts. This is how I often see stuff like this done. But how could we make this better? How could we make this more visually interesting while telling the exact same story beats? We can do this by having a black screen here. Start with a black screen. It's not drawing. It's so laggy.
I wonder why.
I don't know. It was fine earlier and my processor is working fine.
I wonder if it's the tracing paper slows it down.
Maybe. Wait, can I use this? Make the brush bigger.
If you make it bigger, it might slow it down even more.
There we go. I'm being picky here. Go with a black screen. And then what you do is, what if we have the mailbox open and it shows that we were inside the mailbox all along. So you get the light coming through as the mailbox opens, and you see the envelope there, the stamp, and you see
the eyes peeking in.
Yeah, you see the person's face here. Looking in, and like there's the thumb as they open the mailbox.
Yeah. Trying to think. Yeah, you'd probably be the thumb.
So you have this person looking into the mail, and then the next shot you'd have like the mailbox there, lid, and then thumb, and
the other hand.
Yeah, the other hand pulling out a letter.
Trying to draw a face with lag.
Yeah, it's so hard.
Just hope you got everything in the right spot.
And like this tells the exact same story, but instead of being the always always side view shot. We are telling a story within a window.
Mm-hmm.
We have this window here that we are using to tell our story within.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a window within a window. And this can add a lot of visual interest. If you're having someone doing an escape scene, we just watched a movie the other day where people were doing like something sneaky. There was like it was a scene where they were escaping on a boat. And like there was one person sitting here, there was the other one on the back with a motor, and they were escaping from the docks. There's the building. So they're on the water, they're escaping, and like that's fine and all, but what if instead of just them escaping, we frame them up so you have like an old pier out in front, and we're viewing them through this kind of shape. So there's this object in front. So now it's almost like as if we're looking from behind something, looking at them making their escape. It gives that feeling that things are being more sneaky, that there's this sense of hiding because we are looking behind something at them. There's this like object in the foreground, and then the characters in the middle ground escaping. And that gives a lot of depth to a scene and just really helps play with distance and visual elements. So you get this window within a window.
It's such a wonderful framing device, and it's one of those things that if you start thinking about it, it's not hard to implement.
No.
One of my favorite scenes is Paddington.
Yes.
The way they use frame within a frame to make Paddington feel lonely and kind of just closed off from the world. No. Okay, fine. I'm gonna have to do this in different colors so everyone sees which ones are mine. So if you haven't seen Paddington, there's this really beautiful scene which we also goes into a whole other topic on mirroring scenes later on, but we'll think of the first scene first. So in Paddington, there's this scene where Paddington has just moved to the city and he's feeling alone and kind of lost in this new world. And instead of just having Paddington like in a big open scene and I can't draw if you're drawing.
I know. I don't like the fact that oh no, I'm ruining things. No, that's still the eraser. Fix.
There you go. So they could have just had Paddington sitting there in this big empty room, or this, let's say, just this room here. And you have Paddington just, let's get him a little bit bare ears. And he's just kind of sitting alone in this room. Something like that. And you could do something like that. Great. It could sell loneliness really well. Or they could have a close-up of his shot of his face, or a medium shot, and make him look sad. But the problem with that is it makes him feel it's just an empty room. It doesn't make him feel closed off and kind of lost.
Especially in the sense that he comes from the jungle.
Yeah. So, for some reason my shortcuts aren't working. What they did was they had him sit in a window. So they had the room, but in the very center, there's a window here. Like that. And the way they framed this up is that Paddington is sitting curled up in the window here. All alone. And not only that, but the whole room.
Forgot his hat.
There you go. The whole room is in shadow. So he's just this scared little bear in this room full of shadow. And it makes everything look so much smaller and kind of lonely for this character. And it was such a beautiful scene. Now, later on, they use that and they kind of reverse it simply by changing the lighting. And suddenly, at the very end of the scene, the room is beautifully lit and there's lights all over. And there's, like, I believe, like Christmas lights on the ceiling. So, trying to get the tool to work for me. So there's like lights all over and strings, and I think there's a Christmas tree somewhere. So suddenly this big empty room, even though they're still using that frame, they're expanding and showing that his world isn't just this bleak, dark place. It's filled with life, even though he's still within that frame.
And I believe in the shot, like he's writing a letter to his
aunt.
So it's showing the difference, like as he's writing this letter, the world he's in and how he feels about this world.
Yeah. So kind of a big tangent there, but it's a very important one as animators to think of these concepts of how can we frame something in a way that tells more of a story or shows the same information, but in a cool and unique way.
Yeah. You don't have to always show it side view, wide shot, side view, medium shot.
Yeah.
You can do so many more interesting things when you play with framing.
Exactly. So kind of looking back at this scene here, all the drawings over top, they could have just shown someone running.
Yeah.
And you see this back of the guy's head go, huh? As he looks at the guy running.
Yeah, it's just the back of a guard's head while he's watching someone run.
But instead, we see the guard's eyes and we see this flash of motion within the helmet there. You see that flash of motion right here. We get it. He sees them and something's going to happen. It's a cool and unique way of framing this up. Really, really cool. Okay. A shot that like 24 frames long, if that. We've talked about that for how long? Do you need the tracing paper?
No, I turned it off.
Okay. Keeps wanting to turn back on.
Yeah, the ghosting keeps wanting to turn back on for me.
And let's reframe the shot. The tracing paper. No, I'm going to just do a quick refresh here.
Yeah, because I think I turn off the ghosting. It's turning on the tracing paper for you.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Okay. So, let me refresh here. And also, Woodland Yeti, hello!
Yes, hello, Woodland Yeti.
Okay. So I think, are we back in business? We might
Yep.
be. Okay. Let me mute that for now. Okay. And let's turn off ghosting. Okay.
So the next shot is this really awesome running shot, which not much to say on that. Just want to say that when you guys are learning walking and running, this is why it's important. Because if you're going to do a shot with 3 people running, they're all running differently. They're all using running mechanics. So those assignments that you guys do where it's just make a character walk, make a character run, they're kind of important because everyone walks and runs and moves.
Yeah. Hey, just Donnie, thank you so much for the sub.
Thank you so much.
10 months, geez, almost a
Wow.
year. Hey, thank you so much.
You haven't gotten tired of us yet?
I just noticed the sunbeam is slowly encroaching into my eyes.
Yeah,
I'm
your
gonna get
hair
hit
is...
I'm glowing. I just love the animation so much. There you go. Really get that sunbeam in there. So let's keep playing this here. Great throw. I love the fire effects.
Yes.
Like, just look at that.
So
how
good.
it starts so small and I love how it erupts out and down through.
Well, what I love is they're doing a couple of things here. One is we have the 3D animation, so they're using 3D. Second, they're using 2D for the fire. But then third, they're applying a visual distortion. Look at the soldier's leg and the shape of his leg. As it explodes, see how we're getting like this heat wave distortion?
Yeah, the other one you can really see it.
Yeah, you can see like woo, woo, like woo, woo, woo. Like his leg starts out straight and then goes woo, woo.
Such a cool effect.
And like that's really cool because what they're doing is they're taking their 3D animation and then applying like a After Effects effect to create a heat distortion and applying the smoke and fire effect on top of that. And it gives such a cool effect because you're marrying the 3D and the 2D. The 2D isn't just happening on top of it, it's affecting the visuals. And it also just gives a really good feeling of how hot this fire is. This isn't just a flame. No. This is so hot that as soon as it erupts, the heat distortion is immense.
Yeah. And then to answer the question for the run, are they using a library or animating it all on ones? Let's see.
We're animating one by one.
Oh, one by one. That's it. Let's see. It looks like,
to me, it seems like they would animate this by hand. Like they maybe have a run library that they animated already.
Well, what I'm thinking is they might have, like, this is, I can't say for sure. They might have used a base run for all of them and then just adjusted the run using an animation layer. So for example, this guy over here on the right, he's more bent over. This one in the middle, he's standing up straighter. So essentially you just take your run, adjust it a little lower, change the angle of the gun. The other guy, put him up higher, and then you can bake all of that out and then retime certain things, adjust them so that you have the base built out for you, and then you're just adjusting a few things and then kind of retiming them so they don't all start on the same step. They're all starting at different times.
You angle the guns and readjust the overlap.
So they could definitely do that.
Yeah.
Did they do that? It's hard to say, honestly.
Yeah.
That's the big thing with cycles, is that when you're using a cycle, the worst thing you can do is just go drag and drop.
Copy,
My
paste.
job is done. Aha! Moving on. Because people
You're
will
clipping.
notice. Oh, no.
Speak
Why am I
quiet.
clipping? So people will notice.
There we go.
There we go. Soft.
Bob Ross it, Bo.
Yeah, Bob Ross it. So people will notice when
Bob Ross.
when you copy a cycle over onto different things. So regardless of if you're using a cycle or not, what you need to do is adjust it afterwards so that no one will notice that it was a cycle to begin with. Now, in a video game, that's very different, but in a film, you don't want that cycle to be noticeable.
And even in games, you see that with a lot of like enemy cycles where you can see they just copy pasted the same cycle onto the different enemies. And that can work sometimes. Other times it's nice, depending on what you're trying to do, to vary up those cycles.
Yeah.
Also, we may have cursed you, Bo, with Bob Ross.
It's not a curse. Bob Ross is awesome.
Yes, that is true. And one thing I wanted to mention is, like, look at how the smoke staggers. See how it goes, like, 1, 2, 1, 2.
It's animated
1,
on
2.
twos.
Not really, because it shifts.
Well, it's a distortion over top of it. But
that is true.
I think the drawings might stay the same.
Yeah, those are the same drawings. They're just being shifted by the heat wave.
Yeah.
So that's cool that the drawings are animated on twos.
Yeah, that's really cool.
But with the heat wave, it makes it feel like it's animated on ones because everything's always moving. And it gives that like billowing effect.
Yeah, but it's also got a little bit of a stagger to it, which is it creates this very visual ring. Like it feels different. Let's see. Once again head
another
angles.
Yeah, thinking of your head angles here. Both of these shots are great examples of head angles.
Look at that. His nose is passing his lips.
Yeah. And we can do that in real life. If I angle my head down far enough, my nose passes over my lips.
Yeah. And then this one. Oh, this one I really like. That one stood out when we were watching it just full speed. I just love the way the head turns. She could easily just kind of start here and then walk forward like that. But instead we have this tilt away, screen right, before swinging through and around right there, right across. It makes it much more impactful because essentially it's adding an anticipation to the motion, but it also adds kind of a way for her to build the motion first before she leads with her chin. She's not just turning her whole head evenly. leads with the chin and then the head. So it's kind of going chin and then the chin stops and then the head tilts. And it's this really cool layered motion versus just forward and then tilt.
And then just in terms of that as well, like that's her head, but her path also takes this kind of motion. She doesn't just walk straight to camera. She doesn't go bump, 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 bump straight to camera. She is over on one side and she swings through and around. So you really get a sense of body weight as she takes a step, drops on that foot, and then pushes off sideways, kind of diagonally towards camera. So you're getting far more range and visual depth than a character who just gets bigger on screen.
Yeah. Now, another thing I really love about this is, once again, that contrast in motion. I got another nickname now.
Bopunzel.
Yeah. Like golden hair. Magical.
You could be Bopunzel and Mother Bothel.
No. Why is my name so easy to put into things?
Boder.
No. So one thing I love about this is the contrasting motion where you have the head coming down, but then the shoulders coming up here.
Yeah.
It just creates this really nice extra motion versus if she just kind of tilted down and everything slid down. You can see it here, how you get that raise up before then everything swoops down. It just makes it so much
Adds
more.
that extra drop.
Yeah, exactly. And then as she comes up, we feel that head coming up here as the shoulders still continue to go down before now everything goes up. So you still
so
get
there's
that
this
lead.
overlap.
Yeah. Now, another thing I just wanted to mention here is the visual design of the face. Oh no. Bilbo Baggins.
That's a good one.
Yep. So visual design of the face, a few things to watch out for is the way you shape your lines of the face. We talk about this quite often, but it's super important. It's one of those things that consistently I see get forgotten when people approach facial animation. So what are they doing here? Well, one is that they're pushing the line of action of the face. The line of the action of the face has a slight curve this way to it. They're pushing the offset of the brows. Even though we don't see the one brow too much, you can kind of see it. Like, imagine it's right here. Look at how high the other one goes in comparison. You're getting this nice angle right here. Now, the mouth, if you look at the corners, right there to there, it's not the same as the brows. You can see that. It's offset. Now, a lot of people will see this and think, well, that's not offset that much. It's not a contrapposto. Contrapposto is when lines angle against each other. This still counts as contrapposto. Contrapposto isn't just the visual, like one is pointed up here and then the other one is pointed down. It's that they are not parallel and that they are closing in on one side. So if I do, oops, are you, there you go, you're drawing. Yeah, so it's pinching on one side. That's still contrapposto. And let's see, I can prove this here. So let me open up my drawing program, and then we'll switch to that super quick. Okay. So we want that pinch. And that pinch can be made, like I was saying, let's share this. So if I do that, doop, doop, there you go, contrapposto. Very obviously one side goes up, one side goes down. But what happens if I rotate this? Like that. Now they're both going up. This line is going upwards. This line is going upwards. It's still the same contrapposto. I haven't changed the lines. I've just angled it. So if you take your facial pose, get this contrapposto, where one side goes up here and one side goes down, and I do this, now they're both going up. Mm-hmm. It's asymmetry, exactly.
It's so much about up and down. It's about opposite.
Contrast. Yeah. So they're pushing that a lot here. I love it. It really strengthens that line of action.
And another way to think about contrapposto is using animation terms. What you're doing is you're squashing and you're stretching.
Mm-hmm.
So if you consider it like squash and stretch, that's really the concept being applied, is you're kind of stretching out one side while compressing the other. And that gives you that visual interest.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is what line of action does. If you have an object that is shaped like this, and that's its center line, if you bend that center line like this side will bulge out, and this other side will stretch.
Mm-hmm.
So you get squash and stretch.
So it's just pushing those concepts. Now, breaking it down even further, when you get to the eyes, one thing I really love is that they're not centering the pupil and the iris in the eye. That's something I see a lot of. Not too often, but I see it enough that it stands out. Is you'll have like the eye shape there, and the pupil and iris are like right in the center. So you have even amount of white space on both sides. That looks very strange a lot of the time.
It almost gives a wall-eyed feel.
Yeah, it makes the characters look like they're pointed in different directions. Instead, look at the negative space here, the white space, compared to there. Definitely quite a big change there. They're overlapping the brow. We talked about that a lot. Overlap the brows to the eyes, especially if you want to make a character look angry. It's gonna make them look way cooler than if they're just brows down. It just makes them look confused. Yeah. And then from there, the other thing I really like is the kind of way they're overlapping the pupil. So not only are they overlapping the eye shape, but the pupil as well. That really helps make her look angry. The eye skin underneath, so the lower lid, is not even. Look at this side, how it is tight to the eye versus this side, which is much wider here. That's really nice. By default, rigs, if you look at that lower eye, the lid on the bottom here is going to be even the whole way. That's not good. Instead, try
when
to...
you say it's not good, it's because it feels machine. It feels...
Yeah, it's a T-pose. It's the eyes T-pose. It's like if you have your character and they're just standing there like this.
That's not exactly... That's not exactly a good animation shot, because your character is just T-posed, and if you just move them around a shot like that, it's not going to look good. And the face is the same thing. The face has a T-pose.
Mm-hmm. It's just so much better to do like that. Now the mouth I love in this. Yes. They're really pushing the simple line versus complex line. Bottom lip, simple line. Top lip, complex line. Look at that. That makes the mouth so much more appealing. If you have just two very even lines, it looks very boring. If you have two very complex lines, that's just too much. It's hard to see what's going on. There are moments for those, but usually not great. Usually we want to have one side that's a little bit simpler versus the other. Now, you don't have to go as complex as this. You could even just do something where one side is kind of flatter versus the other side, which is rounder here. Something like that works. And if anyone's seen the new My Little Pony animation, which is actually very well animated.
I love it. We might have to do an animation analysis of that.
Yeah, at least on the face shapes, because they do that really beautiful with the eyes and the mouths and the shapes that they create there. So just something to watch out for. So all of those little things, it just makes this facial pose just so interesting. And I love how the corners of the mouth just really come in here as she's speaking.
She really brings it in.
Yeah. Just so nice.
And just one more note on the mouth is, I like the fact that she's got this like raised side. This is something that I often see students do, is they keep the mouth shapes even on either side.
Mm-hmm.
So mouth shapes are always even on
that
both sides.
M shape.
Yeah, that M shape. But that's not how we talk as humans. We usually speak out of one corner of our mouth more than the other. You'll have more of a mouth shape like this, with an emphasized corner.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have something like this, where you're talking out the bottom side a little more than the other one.
Yeah.
So your lip will be a little off center.
Yeah, talking down more on this side.
Yeah,
That's
one
a little
side.
exaggerated, but
Like Stallone kind of thing.
mm-hmm.
Like you can emphasize and exaggerate your mouths so that they're not just symmetrical and boring.
Yeah, Helen Parr from The Incredibles. She does that really well.
Yeah, she really speaks out of the one corner.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, just, it's a very short shot, but they have so much beautiful little details. I love it.
Now, this is the other one I want to talk about. Remember what I was talking about on window within a window, frame within a frame? Look at this shot. This shot starts with a full frame.
Mm-hmm.
We see these characters fully framed.
Yep.
But then as this person comes in, what happens is we're creating a window within a window. First, we get this window where we see the person standing right here. And then the thumb comes over, and notice what happens. We single out, like, we get to see the other two characters. We get to see this person and this person, but they're not important.
No.
Because what happens is the hand blocks them, and we just see the hand around this person.
Mm-hmm.
So we're creating pretty much this frame right here.
Yeah, it's so cool.
And specifically this frame right here. So our entire focus is on this one person, showing you the importance of them.
Well, it's just one of those things, because this is one of those shots. It's a cowboy shot.
Yeah.
It's a standoff. They're walking out. They're going to start the shootout. And they could have framed it in the same way we've seen every other shootout. Like, two people walk out and they just stare at each other. What a unique way of showing that shot right here. Just putting it in the hand like that.
It could have easily just been framed with, like, there's a horizon line.
And you just see the back of the character.
Oh, there's bad guy over here, and then there's cowboy hat, shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, this is the typical framing you often see.
Mm-hmm. Nothing wrong with it.
No, nothing wrong with it, but it's like, we've seen a dozen of these shots, or millions of them. They're so common, but by framing it up like this, it's so much more impactful. You really get that confrontation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really cool. That's the one I wanted to look at. This arm is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And even like her facial expression, you can see that it's taking energy to do this. It's not just an automatic thing.
The chunk is so good.
Look at that. I love the speed of this. So this is a great view on spacing. Rocky Balboa. Oh no. Rambo, Rocky Balboa. What other Stallone names are there? But right here, if we look at the spacing of the shoulder, for example, let's look at that. It's coming down, it's going down, and you get this kind of ease just a tiny bit up right there, and then look how fast that goes.
What helps with this also is the arm straightens out just before to really help sell that chunk up. Because if the arm was bent, it would feel kind of weird. But the arm straightening out gives it the feeling like a piston shooting up.
But they take that shoulder, it launches up, eases in right there, and then holds. Now, like Cameron was saying, the reason this works, one is that they're not just doing a quick change of direction where it goes down and then pops back up, and the spacing kind of looks like this, where it goes down, down, and then back up, just doot like that. They go down, down, hold, slight change of direction, pow, change. They're letting the eye realize that there's going to be a change of direction before slamming it in and then easing. So that's one thing. The other thing is that they make it read that there's going to be a change of direction because we see, like Cameron said, the elbow lock in place. So the elbow is already straightening, is almost acting as an anticipation before poof, shoots up. Now, as it shoots up, everything drags. The arm is nice and straight. As it comes through, eases in, we get this extra little motion that you don't kind of expect. You expect, okay, now it's come up, the arm's going to bend or something like that. And we kind of get that with the elbow here, where everything closes up.
There's
right
a flap that bounces up.
But then as that's happening, the arm pistons out, and you get that nice contrasting motion where the shoulder is still going up, the hand's going down. It twists, hold, and this is so cool. Once again, we get that little bit of motion going down. We've got the shoulder pauldron leading the action. Then the arm itself kind of moves down a little bit, and then just slams down. And as it slams down, oh, go ahead.
Just on that frame where the slam is happening, that's the biggest like light, like all the visual effects go boom. So you really get like that really pushes that.
And it starts up here, so we get the shoulder motion, we get this flash down here, and then down here. The whole motion is leading our eye down so that we're at the hand and right back up. So it's kind of whipping us and makes it feel so much stronger. But it's not whipping out of nowhere. It's all led through.
They're also playing with depth. The hand like shoots towards camera and then back.
It's like really close to camera here. And then as it's coming through, it's rotating around. So it's not just going straight up and down, it's rotating around. And you can see that caused the elbow to bend in right there. And then we get that awesome camera shake.
Playing around a little bit of camera shake can really add intensity to a moment. Especially if you want to sell like a shockwave of energy.
But even the hand bounces. Like if you look at the spacing here, it goes down and then it pops back. There's a camera move, but there's a slight pop there.
Yeah.
And then it goes back again.
So it's shaking. But then one other thing I wanted to mention here, just a nice detail. So you have this like cylinder like come up. You see the purple. They're showing you kind of foreshadowing with the purple lightning. So they're using color here. See again, purple. So you connect the shots. It doesn't like this shot. If you just saw this, it would be like, what's this? Like, is it just a thing? Like, we don't know what this is. And then, okay. And then we cut here. We don't see that little thing up here.
No.
So if we didn't have the purple, this would be very disconnected. And you might not know what's happening. But because they use the purple and the lightning, it ties to this and we see, oh, that's what it is. Our brain connects those together.
Yep.
But also, just fun thing, like, look at how she angles her head out of the way. Because she knows what it's gonna do. So when it happens, her head is already like leaned out of the way. And then she straightens her head up.
Those eyes are so intense.
Yeah. But the last thing I want to mention is this is something that a lot of people don't realize is your shoulder socket is off your body. Like her shoulder here, this whole shoulder. If you're to remove your shoulder, your rib cage would basically be shaped like this. The rib cage is very narrow on top. So look at how when this thing slides up, you see very clearly her rib cage ends here. Like it's like that with her sternum over here. There's not a lot on this side because your shoulder floats off your body. So if you remove the shoulder joint, you actually have like this much, like
the body,
your rib cage is
narrow.
very narrow at the top. So the shoulders being on the clavicle extend that out and give us the broader shoulders. So just something interesting, like they paid attention to that anatomy, that her shoulder is gone and is replaced with this thing.
It's just so cool. Beautiful face shape again. Like the asymmetry of the face, the eyes are slightly different. It's just so good.
Yeah, the colors in this are amazing.
Oh, the colors are so good. Look at that nice little subtle expression change.
Yeah.
Brows are leading. It opens up the eyes just a little bit. And then right back into squint.
Nice little squint. And a lot of these shots are
Those
close-ups.
fingers are so cool.
Yeah, those fingers.
I love that face motion right there. Like, look at how she moves her head. You have this kind of angled down. It's moving across this way. And then as she expresses, her head is tilting on the expression. It's an accent. So, for example, if I go, hello, and I make that kind of O a little bit bigger, hello, my head goes up. Here she's saying something, and you can see that's the accent right there, even without any audio. The brows are going up, the head is dragging behind it, but as that's happening, the jaw is going down, which creates a contrasting motion. It's not just the head tilting. As the head tilts, the jaw drops. It makes it so much more interesting to look at. Now, as she goes up, the head kind of reaches its maximum. It's plateauing here as the jaw then catches up. So it creates this nice offset right there. And then that residual motion keeps the head traveling over there before it eases to a stop there. Everything's layered. It's not just like head, jaw, then eyes, something like that. Everything's layered in these different ways and start and stop at different times. It's just so cool. I love it.
Those finger twitches are so good.
Oh, I know. It's so cool.
But one thing I want to mention, just in terms of continuity again.
Mm-hmm.
So we've established here, character, purple stuff raises up. And then we see arm like shoot up and apparently get like super powered.
Mm-hmm.
So when we cut to this shot and then this one, we may not know what's happening, but we see this thing start electricity starts going again and it rises up. So in our brain, we don't need to know what happens next, but we're already going, oh no, like
Yeah.
This is gonna be bad. Because we've already established this just a couple of shots prior.
Mm-hmm. They
It
don't
was
have
very
to
quick.
establish it again and
Yeah.
make a big thing of it.
And then you see the flash of purple in the
Mhm.
eye. And you
That's so
already
cool.
know what's kind of happening. And you can make inferences because we have established in just two quick shots the power of this like purple.
I love how the eye comes closer to the camera as it does this. Like, just in terms of negative space on the screen, you can see how much the eye doesn't take up right here. And then as the eye opens up, it doesn't just open, it comes up close so that like the eyelash is touching the edge of the screen here. Just so cool. And then the pupil animation, so cool. It actually anticipates, the pupil comes in first before the
Dilating.
eye opens up first, and then the pupil just whoop right after.
Which gives a nice sense of fear. Because in general, when you are angry, your pupils will contract. They become more pinpoints. And when you're scared, your pupils dilate. The reason is to bring in more light and more information. So if you have your eyes normal, it doesn't sell the feeling that you're scared. Your eyes will dilate open when you get scared. So they use that really well to show that this isn't just someone watching it. This is someone who is afraid.
I love the camera roll. So cool.
Yeah, that camera work is really nice.
Now, one thing that they're doing here is that they're not letting the camera lead the action. So the character is being spun right around here. If you look at the camera, it's starting to turn right here. This is when we can feel the camera start to rotate. But the character has already started spinning around for a few frames before that. They're not waiting for the character to be grabbed and then they start rotating the camera first. You always want your camera, or almost always, want your camera to follow the characters, even if it's just 1 or 2 frames. It makes a big difference. If it happens on the exact same frame that the character is doing something, or if it happens before, it makes things feel fake or prepped. This motion here, great. I love how she's leading with that shoulder. You can feel that rising up here to lift the whole character up.
Well, the thing with this camera motion is because it is essentially following her like to the frame, this gives a really cool feeling because it almost feels like the camera is connected to her back and it's spinning with her. So we as the audience are spinning with her. We're not just a cameraman following, we are spinning with her. She's still going a bit faster, but
it's not connected one-to-one.
No, but it definitely, it's a lot sooner than often you will see in like a fight scene. Like here, we'll see if we can find another shot with a camera moving. We'll mention that. But like here, like she gets thrown down first and then the camera follows.
I love look how much twist is on her body.
Yeah, her torso is faced this way. And then as she spins, like, look at that twist.
How much she twists before her arm even starts to straighten.
Yeah, her shoulder is still up into the air and then comes down.
It's so cool. Oh, there's so much good stuff here and we're running out of time.
A lot of good facial stuff. We could probably just skip over a lot of facial notes because we've given so many of it.
Yeah. I just want
to see this part here.
We both said we just want to do... We'll just skip over, but we just want to do this.
Just like, look at this effect. Like, the staggered effect to show the heat and the blast. Like,
oh yeah.
When you guys are trying to do heat and visual effects, don't be afraid to like, look at this. It really adds to that feeling that this impact is
just blasting them to pieces.
And you see these ones go first, and then the one closest to camera
get a little bit of it.
Yeah, but the other ones like get obliterated, and then
those
you see
2D effects are so cool.
I know, it's so good.
Wait, go back. Okay, never mind. I thought I saw something. It was just the shape in the flames.
More cool, awesome explosions, which are on 2s.
So cool.
1s, or wait, no. Yeah, they're using on 2 or 1s and then 2s.
Yeah, and then you have different elements on different timings.
Yeah, so everything always feels like it's moving. Another good facial shot.
Let's see. We should just hit play and we'll try to find something new to comment on.
More
I want to
awesome
pause it already.
explosions.
Okay, you get that nice hang time.
Everything is a bouncing ball.
Yeah. Even when it freezes and slows down, it's just the same concepts. There's so many facial animation things I want to talk about in that section, but it's just going to rehash a lot of the stuff we've already mentioned. Okay, this one I do want to just look at it just for my own sake. When the hand comes in through here, look at all those little cool details. How you feel this piece go forward and that goes down, and then the next one, and that affects these two, and then this one goes. It's so cool.
The smoke effects are on 2s.
Yeah. The hand comes in and it just kind of chunk one frame, boink, and then you get this piece comes down, then the other pieces pop up, and then it chunks back. It's stepped mode, and the spacing is all over the place. It's not kind of doing like there. So it's just key. Let's do this in dots. There, and then there. It's doing there, and then it goes up, there, holds, there, then goes up again, there, and goes up again. It's very odd. Like, some things will just freeze for 2 poses while other things keep moving, and then it goes again. Normally you want to avoid that at all costs because it makes this very stilted feeling. In this case, because it's mechanics, it's like an engine essentially, it works really well, and it creates this just staggered, really neat feel to everything. Like even this thing right here, see how it rotates, just pauses, and then boop, rotates right back to where it was, and then holds there, and then took, gets pulled in again.
It gives a very mechanical dial type of feeling.
Yeah, it's almost like watching the hands of a clock, just chunk, 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 and it's a very sharp, stilted motion. And if it was just one or two parts doing that, it would feel kind of weird. But because it's the whole thing and they layer it properly, everything is constantly moving. So you're not feeling like the whole thing just freezes, pauses, and then starts moving again.
There's just something I wanted to mention here.
Mm-hmm.
This run.
I love how much they're throwing their arms around.
Yeah, like look at how much twist is in the body. You see the back here, you see the front of the hips, and then like look at that. Look how much twist is in that torso.
Mm-hmm.
This is something I often see and I often critique on, especially in earlier student body mechanics works, is they'll have a character run or walk and the body just kind of stays stiff and the hips stay still and the shoulders stay there's no twist happening. Twist happens a lot.
Oh yeah.
Always think about your twist. And then this nice bouncing ball mechanics, a little bit of like slow down visual effects, slow down to add some nice extra pizzazz.
Well, actually, I think that would just be animated.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
Yeah,
is like they're doing a visual slowdown. This isn't like.
Yeah, just for anyone who doesn't know, like if you're gonna animate a slowdown like this, it is not a matter of just taking your animation, play blasting it at 24 frames per second, and then going into After Effects or something, Premiere, and just slowing it down. What that's gonna do is make everything look really weird because there's gonna be frames missing. When you slow down footage like this, you need a higher frame rate. Now,
and you also can't just go in your Maya timeline and just scale it.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Because then this is going to be super in between by Maya and it's going to look terrible.
Mm-hmm. So to animate something like this, you don't want to animate the whole thing at a higher frame rate because that's just a lot more work for no reason, because all the areas that aren't going to be sped up have to be animated at that high frame rate anyway. So you're just wasting time. So essentially what you do is you just animate this whole thing at 24 frames per second. And then when it slows down, you just make everything slower.
Animate slow motion.
Yeah. Animate in slow motion at 24 frames per second. Everything's just like in real life here. I'm not slowing myself down, but I can go and be slow. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you are having to animate the slow motion. And that can be tricky at first when you first use that. Yeah, you can use time warp in Maya, which is really cool. But even then, once you do that, you usually bake it out and then add more keys to fill in the slowed down motion. Time warp is a really cool tool. I should do a demo of that at some point.
And this is just a great shot just in terms of colors again.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is a very dark shot, but look how they're using color to outline her. It's something I would love to talk more about, is just color theory. And again, look how much twist there is in here.
Yeah.
Color theory and using color or contrast values, because you could do a shot in black and white and still have like great contrast. So a talk on values would be really nice to do someday.
And just like, since there's a lot of people here who are doing the Vanilla Walks class too, and like this the first time you're animating your shoulders and things like that, look at how much they're rotating the shoulders here. Now this is a extreme run, like they're all in it. Look at how much the shoulders are rotating and how much the clavicles are moving up and down. Like right here, that's all clavicle movement right there. Just up, down, and then twist. Whew. Twist is big. When you're animating, if you're not using the clavicles and you're not rotating the body and you're just having the character walk along and they're just doing this, doesn't look right. Or if it's just a tiny little bit. For a walk, you don't want to go extreme. That'll be a little weird. But there should be some motion in there. And let's see. Any last few things, because we're going to have to head out pretty soon.
Yeah.
This is cool.
Bouncing
Great.
ball
Oh.
mechanic.
Just look at that pose. Posing.
Silhouette.
Look at that. Everything's nice and clear. They're letting this hand, as the rest of the pose kind of hits, this hand still continues to move, so it doesn't just freeze
It's
completely.
right in the light. So you your focus isn't on her legs. Your focus isn't on her body. On
Yeah.
this other hand, your focus is on this glove.
Yeah.
That just like she jumps up and right in the spot, like.
Beautiful moving hold right through. So she doesn't hit a pose and just freeze completely. If you watch her legs, they keep curling up, especially this one right here. It keeps going up, 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 up.
And then the other one
this
starts to
one's-
come down.
Yes, down, and then now it leads.
And it's helping you follow the arc of where she's going to go.
Yeah, and then she tilts, and then her body is leading with the arm down instead of the leg.
The leg
Is
is essentially acting as a kick to help her
Yeah,
twist.
It's just kind of pushing down and then bring the fist forward, but not to punch with that fist, just to kind of use as an anchor to drag her down while the other one anticipates more. It's
But
just
then-
so cool.
The other thing I wanted to mention on this is they're playing with distance. This is something, again, I know we keep saying stuff like this about student work, but student work is always flat. It's always like you have a shot like this, you have your 3 beats. You have boom, 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 and it'll have your character here. They jump into the air, they get there, legs tucked up, whatever. And then from there, they land. Choo, like there's the punch. And they're always the same scale in terms of size on screen.
Yeah.
What they're doing here is they have her.
Depth is so missed out
Yeah.
on. It is,
She's like medium here. And then when she gets near the top, she's actually really small. And then by the end, it's like massive fist and like it takes up like the entire screen here.
Like,
So
if we just look at the screen space of the character, we go from here to just a little smaller because she's gotten up and away from camera. And then by the end, like look at that.
she takes up like
Basically 2/3.
yeah, 2/3 of the screen.
Yeah, it's basically on thirds right here. And then the swing fills and kind of cuts across the empty third right across there. That's
Awesome
cool.
visual.
Look at that. Oh, that's awesome.
And then you get that punch through.
Hmm.
The hard camera move really
Yeah.
sells it too.
Yeah, it's the fact that she punches here. Oh, let's do this in a different color. Punches here, and then the camera keeps going through.
But there's
And
a frame hold on it where you have her hit and then the effect happens
Yeah,
and the camera doesn't move but then punches through. So you get that feeling like her impact like stopped on his face and then blew through. There's that
yeah.
pause right there.
And I love
then
this.
a
Like,
nice
you can
hold.
feel the twist around of her legs going through there. The punch,
The arm,
just, yeah,
the other
this
arm going
coming-
around.
Yeah, that's so cool. Oh, and everything pressing in. Even though, look at this. This is a big metal beam right here. It squashes.
Well, the beam on his face, like it's bending.
Yeah.
The bolt is
So
coming
cool.
out.
And then look at the stagger here. They're not just going push, push, crunch in, or worse, just hit, crunch, 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 crunch. It's holding. Like, look at the fingers right here. Hold, 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 hold. They almost kind of come back a little bit as it's sliding across the surface. Punches in.
Yeah, you feel
Hold.
that buckle.
Yeah, hold, hold, punches in again. Hold, hold, it's like 3 stages of crunch in
And it's
there.
Crunch. Crunch. You're feeling the effort that it takes. It's not just a smooth push, because this is something that we see often in student work again, is they'll do an impact and it's just very even. When you hit something like this, that person is pushing against you, you're pushing against them, and you're pushing against something that has substance.
Yeah.
So it takes effort to break through. And if you sell that, the fact like it takes her like 3 crunches to get through, it shows just how strong it is. It's not like he's just made of like porcelain. It's like punk and he breaks. No, it's like she is pushing through, especially with everything that we've seen before, with how big a swing this was.
It just makes it so powerful. And then here, I love this, where it just holds, and then wham! In one
Well, you see the
frame.
glove. You see it in the glove first. If you go back, like you can see right here, there's that. You scrubbing?
Yeah, you can scrub now.
You can see it in the glove here. You see that like, it opens up. There's blue electricity.
It's squashing.
It's pressing, and then there's this like one frame, and then blam.
Yeah.
You see the energy build up, and in one blast go. It's such a great way of foreshadowing it, and then but not just easing it.
And what I love here is that they're really breaking up the motion. The spacing here, if you look at the different parts, you have the knee, the foot, the hand over here, the head, we'll kind of look at the face here, and then the spine, and then the hips here. Instead of he gets hit and everything slides back, look what happens.
His legs don't even move.
No, his leg goes out the other way. His hand, look at the end here. It's just stretching. It's a big metal thing and it's stretching.
The knee just stays in place.
Yeah.
It shifts back ever so slightly.
The leg is kind of getting pulled a little bit, but the back, you're getting this big crunch back. Hey, and Broken Tangent, hey, how's it going?
Thank you so much for subbing.
Yes, thank you so much. For anyone who doesn't know, Broken Tangent also has an awesome Twitch stream, so definitely go check his out. But hello, hope you're doing well.
Yes.
It's been a while. I keep wanting to drop by, but work and life. Ugh. Life. Why did life have to get so busy? But we see this here, and this is actually something that I saw recently in some student work, a few different shots, where people were animating this punch, or posing out this punch even, just in the first pose pass, and they wanted to know how to make it stronger. And part of making the punch feel like it really hits is making sure that the person getting punched, for lack of a better term, is
doesn't
broken.
see it coming.
Yeah, they don't see it coming, and that they feel broken. Now, what I mean by feel broken is, look at the spine here. When he's just kind of here, taking the impact initially, we've got this nice curve, very smooth through here. When the impact really hits, look at that curve. You've got a break right there, a pinch. If you're posing at your character and they're getting punched and they're just a nice smooth line as they get hit here, and then the hip, foot. My drawings are so basic in comparison. But you do something like this, and then the punch would be like coming through there. That's going to be boring because it looks like they're just kind of a ragdoll getting thrown. If you've seen like clips on, especially on YouTube, because people don't have that huge a budget, and someone gets hit and they just throw a ragdoll to pretend that it got hit and they fall down some stairs or something, that's what you get. This really weak feeling. There's no weight to it. There's a paper person. Instead, show that break. If they were standing, let's kind of put them standing here, and they got punched in the face, and you really want to set that pain in there, like let them bend back in here and let the head snap back, and the arms
here. You
drag
erase
back.
the head.
Yep.
Like if you want to get a good head punch, keep the head up.
No, yeah, you can do
like
it that
this.
way too.
So that way you get like, there's the arm coming through, connecting on the person's.
Yeah, it would all depend on where you
face.
want them to hit.
Like let's say in the jaw. That was a little too high. Like down here.
Mm-hmm.
You got this punch right in there. maybe it's a rocket,
Yeah.
hit them in the face. And like by having this break, you get the feeling that this has hit hard. And a way to imagine the body is not just as like when you're hitting something, it's not just a line of action. It is, imagine it like pieces of wood connected by little like joints. So we've got like, think of every bendy part in our body. We've got the head to the neck, the torso to the hips, the hips to the knees, and all of those parts. So if I punch here super hard, what will happen is that part will like break. But then like the head will still be here. The hips will still be there. And
then they'll drag afterwards.
Yeah, so you get this break, and then from there they drag out as those other parts like blow apart.
What did you do to this poor person?
And you get this like, and then the fist like comes through.
Yeah.
Splinters.
So you want to really try and push that.
So that's what you want. You don't want to just end them. You want to punch through them, and everything else like wraps around and pushes through that. And that's what's happening with his face, is punching through the face.
Yeah, and you feel that right here, that moment where everything kind of gets pushed through. And now after, this is when everything is dragging and just kind of right back to where it was punched. So good.
Great effects.
Great run. Again,
more great facial expressions.
Oh, so good. I'm so excited for this. Even the font is cool.
I know, it's so good. The light effects and the Art Deco style.
Awesome. So I think that pretty much covers most of it. We skipped a whole bunch that I did want to cover, but
yeah, but it's more of the same, more or less.
Yeah.
More facial expressions and
it's just the subtleties of each expression more than anything. But what I would recommend is if you're trying to do an expression, let's say I'm trying to create an angry face, or hey, let's say I want to do a sad face. Look at the sad face here. It's very effective. Why? What are they doing that makes this feel sad? And what can you do in your shot to capture those same elements?
And like, if you look at this, it's like, if you just cover his eyes, his mouth isn't really doing anything. It almost kind of looks happy with the corners upturned.
This is actually something that's always worth doing. Look at that. Is he sad? Yeah. Look at this. Is he sad? Oh yeah.
So what we're seeing here is he's not just sad. He's sad, but he's trying to be stoic. It's just in the eyes. Yeah.
He's trying to be brave, you could say, versus just being miserable and sad and boo-hoo. He's not pouting.
Because there's different types of being sad. There's like, he's trying to be comforting to her. He's trying to be to show strength for her.
What did I say with that? There's another one.
What?
Bohu.
Oh. And do we play League? I've always wanted to, but
we played it twice, I think.
Yes, twice.
Yeah,
it was fun.
I liked it. It was a lot of fun.
Great animations and characters.
I've always loved the art style of the game. Just never had a chance to really play it.